There are moments in life when pain arrives without asking for permission. Sometimes we know exactly where it comes from. A loss, a disappointment, a goodbye, a relationship that ended, something we dreamed of that never happened. And other times, we simply feel that something inside us feels heavy, but we don't know how to explain it. Maybe you're going through one of those moments right now. And if you are, I want to tell you something before we begin. You don't have to be okay all the time. You don't have to pretend that nothing happened. You don't have to smile when, inside, you're trying to put yourself back together. And you don't have to figure out your entire life today. Today, we're simply going to do something different. We're going to allow ourselves to feel. And then, little by little, we're going to learn how to transform what hurts. Because transcending pain doesn't mean forgetting it. It doesn't mean denying what happened. And it certainly doesn't mean telling yourself, I should be over this by now. Transcending means learning to look at what hurt us, without allowing that pain to become our identity. So for the next few minutes, I invite you to stay with me. If you have colored pencils, markers, paints, or any art supplies nearby, you can get them ready. And if you don't have anything, that's perfectly okay. You can simply listen. Because today, we're going to use art as a simple way to give our feelings a safe place to exist. Take a deep breath. And let's begin. Before we can transform something, we first have to acknowledge that it exists. So many times, we want to escape pain as quickly as possible. We distract ourselves. We work more. We scroll through our phones. We fill our days with activities. We try to think about something else. And for a while, it seems to work. But what we don't express often finds another way to get our attention. So today, we're not going to fight the pain. We're going to listen to it. Close your eyes for a few seconds, if that feels comfortable. Breathe slowly. Inhale. And exhale. And ask yourself, what is really hurting me? You don't have to answer out loud. Simply notice whatever comes up first. It could be a person, a situation, a memory, a word, a loss, or even something you still can't explain. Don't judge the answer. Don't try to change it. Simply acknowledge. This is what I'm feeling right now. And remember something important. Feeling pain doesn't mean that you are weak. It means that you are human. The things we care about can hurt us. The things we love can leave wounds. But a wound doesn't have to become a prison forever. Now I want to invite you to try something. If you have one of our coloring pages, this is a wonderful moment to begin. You can choose any design. You don't have to choose the prettiest one. Choose the one that somehow speaks to you. And as you begin coloring, don't think too much about which colors you are supposed to use. Let your intuition choose. If today you want to use dark colors, that's okay. If you want to use bright colors, that's okay too. There is no right way to color. We're not trying to create a perfect piece of art. We're creating a space for ourselves. As you color, allow your hands to express what your words may not yet be able to say. You can imagine that every stroke represents an emotion, a memory, a worry, a part of you that needs to be heard. And as you color, breathe. Inhale slowly. And as you exhale, release a little bit of tension. You don't have to release all of it. Just a little. Another stroke. Another breath. Another moment of peace. If you'd like to explore our coloring pages and use them as part of these moments of connection with yourself, you can find out how to get our coloring pages in the description. We created them with the intention of turning coloring into a small moment of pause, creativity, and personal connection. And if you're enjoying this space, I also invite you to subscribe to the channel. Here, you'll find more content created to accompany you through moments of reflection, growth and transformation. Now, take a moment to look at what you're creating. Maybe your page is still unfinished. And that's okay. Because there is something very similar between a coloring page and our own lives. We don't have to finish everything at once. There are parts that are still waiting for color. There are spaces that need time. There are places we don't yet know how to fill. And that doesn't mean our story is wrong. It simply means that we're still creating. Maybe for a long time you thought, what happened to me changed me. And maybe that's true. But being changed by something doesn't mean that it has to define you forever. You can say, this hurt me, but I am not only my pain. This happened, but my story continues. I lost something, but I can still find something new. A part of me broke, but another part of me is learning how to rebuild. You don't have to become the person you were before. Maybe the person you're becoming now has more depth, more awareness, more compassion, more strength. Pain can leave scars. But a scar is also evidence that healing has taken place. And even if you can't see it yet, perhaps you are already healing. Now let's try a second activity. You don't need to be an artist. You only need a piece of paper. It can be a blank sheet, a notebook, or even another coloring page. I want you to draw something very simple. Don't worry about making it beautiful. Draw a shape that represents your pain. It could be a cloud, a stone, a storm, a crack, a mountain, whatever comes to your mind. Now look at that shape and ask yourself, what does this pain need in order to transform? Maybe it needs light. Maybe it needs love. Maybe it needs rest. Maybe it needs forgiveness. Maybe it needs distance. Maybe it simply needs time. Now begin adding something new to your drawing. If you drew a storm, you can add rays of light. If you drew a stone, you can draw flowers growing around it. If you drew a crack, you can fill it with color. You're not erasing the pain. You're adding something else to the story. And this is one of the most beautiful ways we can transcend what hurts. Not by denying our story, but by allowing ourselves to stop telling it only from a place of suffering. You can add new pages, new colors, new experiences, new dreams. Life can have color again, even after a gray season. Now put your pencils down for a few seconds. Look at your drawing. Look at your page. And breathe. Maybe nothing has changed outside of you. But something may be changing within you. Because transcending pain doesn't always happen in one dramatic moment. Sometimes it happens quietly. One morning, you wake up and the memory doesn't feel quite as heavy. One day, you hear that song and it doesn't hurt the same way anymore. One day, you can talk about what happened without feeling like you're living through it all over again. And maybe another day, you suddenly realize that you're enjoying something again. That is healing too. You don't have to rush it. Everyone has their own timing. So today, I want you to let go of one expectation. The expectation that you have to be okay immediately. You can be moving forward even when you still have difficult days. You can be healing even when you still cry. You can be growing even when you're still afraid. Progress doesn't always feel like happiness. Sometimes progress simply sounds like, today, I got out of bed. Today, I breathed. Today, I did something for myself. Today, I chose to continue. And that is enough. Before we finish, I want to invite you to take one final breath with me. Take a deep breath in. And slowly let it go. One more time. Inhale. And release. Now place one hand over your heart. And repeat silently. I allow myself to feel. I allow myself to let go. I allow myself to begin again. My pain is part of my story, but it does not define who I am. There are still beautiful things waiting for me. Stay here for a few seconds. And when you're ready, look again at the colors in front of you. Maybe before you began, all you saw was a blank page. And now there is something different. There is color. There is movement. There is a creation that didn't exist before. And maybe that's also a small reminder for your life. You can still create something beautiful with what you have today. You don't need to have all the answers. You don't need to know exactly what comes next. You only need to take the next step. One color. One breath. One day. One small step at a time. If this video found you during a difficult moment, I want you to remember something. You are not meant to remain forever in the place where you were hurt. Your story can continue. You can learn to trust again. You can create again. You can feel joy again. And you can find color again. If you'd like to continue this journey through art, if you would like to continue this process, I invite you to check the description, where you'll find our coloring pages, created to accompany you through moments of transition, creativity, and reflection. And if this space made you feel a little less alone, subscribe to the channel and turn on notifications so we can continue sharing more moments like this together. Thank you for being here. Thank you for giving yourself these few minutes. And thank you for allowing yourself to feel. Remember, pain may be part of your story, but it doesn't have to be the end of it. I'll see you in the next video.